everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm the host, T Money, and today I'm going to be doing my recap on the Bulls and the Thunder. So it's only 2 weeks left in the regular season, and the Bulls currently stand at 33-41, and the Thunder are the number one team in the NBA at 62-12. They have the number one defense, number one offense. They have the best player in the NBA, in my opinion, the SGA. So this was a crazy matchup. I really was looking forward to it. Just wanted to see what the Bulls need to work at, what they need to work on, who they need to pick up, who they need to trade, what can they be stronger at. So this was really a matchup I was kind of looking forward to. So the starting lineup is Coby White, Josh Giddey, Dalen Terry, Buzelis, and Vucevic. So in that first quarter, the Bulls' game plan should be obviously defense centered around the Thunder's best player in SGA. They don't need to let him get downhill, get to attacking, get into the groove, get into a rhythm. They need to make him uncomfortable, get the ball out of his hand as much as we can. Don't let him get in the paint. He's not really a high-volume three-point shooter. He don't really shoot a lot of threes. He do most of his work around the mid-range area. So if we could trap him, stop him, and make somebody else beat us, then we probably had a chance. So OKC is the number one defensive team in the NBA, and I kind of see why. They get their hands on a lot of balls. They play the passing lane. They trap the paint. They get back in transition. The Bulls obviously trying to work to their strength, was just pushing the fast break, and the Thunder were just doing a great job of just stopping us early with that, clogging the paint, clogging lanes, not really letting anyone get into the paint. The Thunder got into an early lead, 9-3 lead, caused the Bulls to call a timeout. Both teams got off to a 4 for 19 combined. I did notice that when the Bulls wasn't getting into the paint, they were shooting way too many threes. They went 1 for 9 in the first quarter just off three-point shooting. And it's like, you really want to see way more ball movement. You want to see people move without the ball, people cut. If we're not working in transition, then you definitely want to see more ball movement and more cutting. The Thunder ended up picking up their offense, led by SGA. They ended up going on a 10-0 run, and I kind of knew that this was their game plan to get their star player going, just to get into the groove and the rhythm of their offense. Bulls have to run some type of play, something to get us going. In that first quarter, it wasn't really a lot of movement, a lot of stagnant. You know, they put Lou Dort on Coby White. He was getting frustrated, flopping, looking for the foul all night long. And, you know, with this team, the ref's not going to call it for this team. It's the best team in the NBA. So I do want to see more ball movement when facing an aggressive defense like the Thunder. So the Bulls ended up going down 18-29 in that first quarter, and it was already looking scary from here on out. So in the second quarter, the Bulls ended up going down by 16, causing an early timeout due to lack of defense. And it's like, if we're not getting our offense going, we can't let them get their offense going, because they was pretty much just getting whatever they wanted, inside, outside. You know, we resulted into a stagnant offense. Everybody was just standing around playing iso ball. We shot too many threes. We went 2 for 17 from three by the time it was the third quarter. And then around the time when SGA went to the bench, I could tell that their second player, that second All-Star, J-Dub, he got it going. He got into a nice rhythm in the mid-range, getting down in the fast break, getting to the paint, pretty much just getting whatever they wanted. And I kind of was upset with what I was seeing on the defensive end. You know, I preach defense a lot because that would really set the tone and let them know, like, you know, nothing easy around here. Y'all got to move around and try something else. You know, I did notice that I kind of see why the Thunder is ranked number one in defense. You know, a lot of players have active hands. They play the passing lanes. They get deflections. You know, the Bulls had 13 turnovers. By the time it was the second quarter, the Bulls had 10-plus turnovers. By the time it was the second quarter, it was just sloppy basketball. It's like they was playing scared almost, like they were scared of the Thunder or something. Like they couldn't just go at them. They didn't have anybody out there scrapping, fighting. You know, it just looked like they just pretty much just gave up. They did a great job at keeping us out the paint. You know, the defense wins championship. Just the way they was looking last night, man, this looked like a championship level team in the Thunder. I do like how Billy Donovan coaches them from quarters 1 through 4. He's not really the type of coach to just sit up there and just give up and let his team go down and let his team just blow a lead. He's going to keep fighting, and he want his players to keep fighting. The coach wanted to win, but the players, it just didn't seem like they wanted to win. So in the second quarter, the Thunder started to blow the doors off the game. It was just a tough game to watch. We just couldn't get nothing going on offense. We couldn't stop nobody on defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. Everybody was out there looking like cones. They let Isaiah Joe come off the bench and just fire us up. And it's like, if somebody got it going, then that's the first person you need to be guarding. If he got it going and you know he just hit like 3 or 4 threes, then why not just pick him up in the half court instead of just letting him come down, run around, get a wide open corner three. It just, from both ends of the floor, offense and defense, we just looked lost. It just was bad, sloppy play on both ends. they pretty much just smacked us. They just came out and smacked us and showed why they're the number one team in the NBA. So the Bulls ended up going down 40-74, which is so sad. It was tough for me to just watch this game. Really tough. So at the half, SGA had 14.7 assists. J-Dub had 15 points. Isaiah Joe had 19 points off the bench. He hit 5 threes. It's just ridiculous, man. Josh Giddey had 7 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Buzelis had 8 points. Vucevic had 6 points. Nobody scored on double digits on the Bulls. So not only we was getting smacked on offense, they was also stopping off some of our best players, and just isolation ball, playing the passing lanes, getting deflections, trapping everybody. Everybody weak side help. Everybody was rotating. Their defense was phenomenal the way they played last night. Coming out in that third quarter, I could kind of tell that our offense wasn't going to get going because of the matchup of Lou Dort guarding Kobe White. He guarded him all through quarters 1 through 4. Kobe was just frustrated, flopping around, throwing his hands up, looking at the ref, and then it's like sometimes when you go up against some of these top teams, you're not going to get some of them calls. So you got to just play through the whistle if you're even going to get the whistle, which you're probably not. So that was just a tough matchup all night because Lou Dort being about 6'4", 6'5", 2-something, 210, a strong guard, can pretty much keep Kobe White in front of him and play into his hands. And it was just a tough game to watch, man. This was really tough. And I did notice how, we did force a couple early missed shots in that third quarter. And when someone gets the rebound and run, then that means that the whole team has to run because that's pretty much our strength is transition offense. And when nobody else is running, just 1-on-3 or 1-on-4, and the Thunder are getting back in transition on defense, then it's pretty much nothing we can do because now we don't have anyone that can really put the ball on the floor, anybody that can create their own shot, and then everybody just standing around just running a simple 1-2 pick and roll, and that's really was just our downfall. Not really working to our strengths, not being aggressive on defense, not fighting. Pretty much like they just gave up. So, I do want to see a trade in the offseason. Trade Vucevic. I'm not sure what the game plan is or why he's even in the game in a blowout situation like this. It was just tough to watch. And the Bulls ended up having 17 turnovers, which led to 24 points by the Thunder in the third quarter, which is just like, it's ridiculous. When is someone going to just take care of the ball? When is somebody going to make a play trying to spark us, bring some people off the bench, try to get a spark or something to get this team going and get them rolling? It just seemed like they just didn't care. So, the Thunder just wasn't missing. They was firing on all cylinders. Everybody was hitting everything, and they scored 100 points by the time it was the 6-minute mark in the third quarter. So the game was pretty much over with. And then the insertion of Jevon Carter and THT gave us a little bit of momentum, but I did kind of see how Coach Dagginoff on the Thunder kept calling timeouts, killing what little momentum we had. It was just a bad showing. You do want to see different types of rotations or different players come into the game to try to spark something off the bench, and I just didn't see that last night. And the Bulls ended up going down 74-114 in the third quarter, and by this time, it was just a blowout. Pretty much. I didn't like what I was seeing on the defensive end or the offensive end. I didn't like the rotations. I didn't like the subs that coach was making. I didn't see any fight back. I didn't see anything that was like a positive from this game because it was just so far off, and we just got blown out so bad. It was just ridiculous. So the only bright spot was Jevon Carter and THT came off the bench for 30 points in 24 minutes combined. So maybe if the insertion of them a little bit early in this game, it probably would have been a different outcome, but who knows? One of the most unguardable players in SGA and J-Will, J-Dub, and all those guys, and it just was ugly. I did kind of see that, with the assertion of those two players, THT and Jevon Carter, they did try to chip away at the lead, and those are the only two players I could really say honestly was out there hooping because everybody else just pretty much gave up. So with those two really getting the offense going, I did kind of notice that the lead was kind of getting chipped down, but the Bulls just had no answer for their three-point shooting. Isaiah Joe ended up coming off the bench, hit 8 threes. He was still on fire from quarter 1 through 4. I don't know why. If he's in transition, just running straight to the corner, why not look for him if he just hit the last 2 threes? It was just an ugly game to watch. And the Thunder just ended up blowing the doors off this thing, man. We ended up losing 117-145, man. This is like probably the largest deficit I've ever seen us lose by. And it was just a tough game to watch. I do get that this is the number one team, but we got to go out there and we got to compete more on both ends of the floor. We can't just give up like that. Everything that pretty much happened was just You know, a lot of people just standing around being stagnant. A lot of people getting frustrated because we couldn't really push the ball in transition, work towards our strengths. There was too much trapping, It was too much trapping. It was too many good rotations, too much weak side help. So if somebody beat somebody off the dribble, they playing the passing lane for a cross court pass, or they weak side helping. So where it's like everyone's rotating, everyone on their team can guard 1 through 5. So it was just pretty much an ugly matchup for us. And I do want to see more plays being called. I want to see more ball movement. I want to see more cutting without the basketball, because when we was doing those things, then we kind of started chipping away, but the league kind of got away from us, and their star players got rolling, and we just had no answer for them. So the game highs, Josh Giddey ended up having 15 points, 10 assists. Buzelis had 14 points. Javon Carter had 17 points, and THT scored 16 points off the bench. It's crazy how those two ended up having 10-plus points in the short amount of time that they had. Maybe if they was put in the game a little earlier, the outcome would have been a little different, but who knows? You know, SGA had 27 points, 12 assists. Doug ended up having 23 points. Isaiah Joe had 31 points off the bench with 8 3-pointers made. That is just insane. Ain't no way in the world you're supposed to be letting no bench player come off and get 30 off the bench. Like, in the game grade, I'm going to give this game a D, man. I didn't really see much. I didn't really see anything positive from this game on either end. It was just like, you know, we showed up, we put our uniforms up, and we showed up. That's the type of vibe I was getting from them. So it was just unfortunate that it had to end like this. So we will be facing the Toronto Raptors on Tuesday. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.